Alrighty, apparently we are live. So excited to be here. Here being in Pennsylvania, and I'm here with Kelley Marion, the owner and founder of Green Juju, who happens to looks like be doing a specific color palette here, and she is in company headquarters in Seattle, Washington. So looks like people are starting to come in. If you're here, I can see the comments, obviously. So please let us know you're here and excited, and maybe even let us know what you think this new product might be. That would be an interesting thing. I know people always tend to guess names, which I think is kind of hilarious. So thank you guys all for coming. And, I just wanted to say we were so happy with the reception that we got the last time we released some products, which wasn't very long ago, in doing Bam's Beets and Lewis Fermented Golden Paste and our raw goat's milk. And so I don't know about you, Kelley, but nothing makes me happier than, developing and releasing these new products and seeing all of the happy dogs and cats, and not only, more importantly, the healthy dogs and cats from that. So, any thoughts before we kind of get into the reveal here?
I think we've gotten to a really fun momentum of weeks and weeks of the behind the scenes, developing sometimes mundane spreadsheet stuff, all the behind the scenes, and then these big launches, and then the anticipation of getting them through the distribution cycle and getting out into stores, and then finally into customers' hands, and then hearing feedback. It's become this cycle, and it's really fun to. I think this is the best part of the cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, too, I think one of my favorite parts as well is when you start to see people post online about using it. So if you're watching this video and you love Green Juju products and you buy them, if you tag us in them, we really do. We're such a small crew of people, small, i.e., the two people in front of you. It does really bring us a lot of joy to see people and be tagged and things like that. So, helping to do that. So I guess without further ado, we can kind of jump into it. So Kelley, first, let me ask you about the packaging of this particular product. So let's go into what you think about that.
Well, I have a favorite color. It's coral pink, if you can't tell. And one of the fun things about having a company and doing the packaging design is that you get to pick colors and pick the design. And I love working with our designers. It's one of my favorite things. And I've tried to put this coral pink on 3 packaging before, and I've gotten shut down for various reasons, which made sense. It totally didn't fit. But I got this one. I finally got my coral pink, and it fits with the packaging, and it makes sense. And I think that you guys are going to be excited when you see it. Would you like to show it?
Yes, I would. And so here we go. So without further ado, for the enjoyment of your dogs and cats, we present to you Pork Pink. So this is another addition to the treat line that Kelley developed, the amazing treat line that she developed with different antioxidant colors. So within this line itself, we pair organ meat, proteins that are with heart and liver, the most nutrient dense version of meat, and we pair that with specific colors. So in this case, we have pork pink. So this is going to be pasture-raised pork, pork heart, pork liver, and then we combine that in this case. And I really like how you put this, actually, when I was reading this today. We combine that with parsnips, beets, and strawberries. So we're basically taking white parsnips and red beets and red strawberries and mixing them together, and you get this. It might be hard to see on here because the light is coming from the window over there, but you do get this beautiful pink color in regards to these treats. And aside from the blueberries, which, I mean, you'll have to give me the technical definition because I don't know if berries are a fruit. They are, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But this would be another foray into berries. So that's kind of a new thing as well. So I'm very excited about the strawberry aspect of this treat. So Kelley, give me your initial thoughts right now on our brand new pork pink treats.
So one of the things that I really like about this is that, first of all, yep, we say it. Pork is uh, pork is an energetically cooling protein in terms of traditional Chinese medicine. Um, and so that's when you're looking at different proteins you're feeding, it's always good to rotate through the proteins and also good to match what proteins fit your pet's constitution and the time of year. And duck is very cooling, and then pork is cooling. There aren't a ton of cooling options out there. There are some neutral, some warming, but pork is a great cooling option. Um, Things that do well with cooling proteins are like inflammatory conditions like allergies or any list of things that cause inflammation. So pork can really be a great fit for dogs or cats that have anything like that. It's also considered more of a novel protein compared to like your beef and chicken type of protein. So it's novel and it's cooling, and we always like things that are a little bit off the beaten path in that way. Um, I wanted to. So, one of the fun things about working with Billy is that we've been working together a little over a year, but we've known each other closer to a decade. And so, one of the things about pork is that you really want to get good sourcing. We are fortunate to have excellent sourcing from a Pacific Northwest farm. And I had a little story to tell about this. And Billy, I don't know if you're even going to remember this, but 6 or 7 years ago, Billy and I went out to breakfast one day, and we're sitting there looking at the menus, and I was like, do you know what you're going to order? And he's like, well, I think I want this pork, but I have to ask the server where it's sourced from first. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we wait, and the server comes, and Billy asks, and the server's a little perplexed and goes and gets the answer and comes back. And he's like, oh, okay, that'll do. And so he gets the pork. And our pork is sourced from the same farm that Billy's infamous breakfast pork came from. So I think that is a telling sign that if it was fit for Billy's breakfast, that it's a great source for our pets as well.
Which was very good. I'm trying to remember that place is in Ballard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's always been incredibly important to me, both in my own personal life and also, in the products that I want to make. Are those pigs being treated right, and are they engaging in natural behaviors? Um, are they outside? All these things that we look for. So that does sound like me being very bougie at breakfast. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Um, and the other thing that I love about pork in here is you're getting some of that, when you feed animals, you're getting protein and fat. And, a lot of the treats that are coming out now are full of, plant oils. And so this is a really great alternative to that. And, the saturated fats and unsaturated fats in pork are really, really healthy. And they also carry some of those fat soluble vitamins as well. And so I think this is just going to be a really great nutrient dense way to feed your dog, whether you're using it for a topper, whether you're using it for as a training treat of some kind. However you're using this, it's going to be really, really nutrient dense. And again, that was pork pink. And again, that's pork. And we're pairing that with parsnips, beets, and strawberries. And just for the sake of our attention to detail, why don't you just tell them real quick again and remind them about our vitamin E that we use to preserve this?
Oh, yes. So any kind of a mixed freeze-dried treat needs mixed tocopherols or natural vitamin E preservative to keep the product fresh. And way back when we were first developing like the Bison Green and the Beef Red, that first edition of these products, I did a test batch and I fed it to Bambi, my Frenchie, and I was feeding her the Bison Green, and each ingredient in there I knew she was okay with, but she had a reaction from those treats and she got all red and itchy. And I was devastated. How could my dog be reacting to something that I'm making and that I know everything that's going in there and where it's sourced and like what could be going wrong? And I coincidentally had an appointment with my holistic vet, Donna Kelleher, that day, and I was telling her about it. And she was like, "Oh, it's the mixed tocopherols." And she's like, "You have to have them, but majority of the time they're sourced from a GMO source, and it's the GMOs that are triggering the allergies and or the reactions in the dogs and cats." And so I went back and requested a non-GMO mixed tocopherol from our supplier, and they were like, "I mean, that exists, but like nobody does that." And I was like, "Let's give it a try." So we did another test batch with the non-GMO mixed tocopherols, and Bambi was fine, and she's been fine ever since. And so we make a point of making a distinction that we use non-GMO mixed tocopherols in our freeze-dried because talking to other people in the industry, it seems that that is a common trigger with freeze-dried foods, that dogs and cats will be able to eat a certain protein or certain ingredients, but then once it gets in a freeze-dried form, they react to it. And that seems to be why. So we have found a way to get around that.
That's amazing. And that just goes to show you that as we make new products and as we continue to do that, we're going to keep that same quality, and we're going to make sure that everything that goes out to, the people watching this, their pets, is what we would feed our own pets as well, in terms of doing that. So yeah.
I think we should talk about the plants that we're adding in here.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that we had the white parsnips and then the red beets and the red strawberries. So that's just another spectrum of the phytonutrients, right? And so phytonutrients as a whole are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, so anti-aging. They fight cancer. They do all these things, but they all do it from a different angle, I guess you could say. And so by having these different ingredients in there with different pigments, they are helping support the body in different ways than, say, the green pigmented plants would.
Exactly. And so this provides another color to be able to rotate between and get all of those different benefits. So I know for me, I love doing that myself with my own dog. So not only do you have something on the tip of your tongue there? Were you going to say something?
No, I'm frozen, but
and you're not frozen on my end.
Okay, good.
So not only do we have this pork pink, but we also have another surprise as well. So
we do not have a visual demonstration of this because we didn't plan that well, but every flavor of our freeze-dried is now coming out in an 18-ounce bag. The bison will be 16-ounce, but everything else will be 18-ounce, and they will be $39.99, and the bison will be $49.99. And all of this is like packaging is at our warehouse. We're ready to start shipping this as soon as orders are in or ready to go out. So probably by the end of the month, this should be hitting stores pretty quick.
That is amazing. So to recap that, we not only are introducing this amazing pork pink product, but we are also releasing this as well as all of our other freeze-dried toppers and treats in larger bags. So those of you with big dogs and those of you that like to save money, that's going to be a really great thing for you. So is there anything, Kelley, that you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
I'm really excited for people to have another option to rotate through proteins because I think that that's one of the things I really like doing with Bambi's food is rotating the proteins every 2 weeks, and I'll have different combinations, whether it's like bison and duck or goat and pork or something like that. So I just think more protein options are better. It provides the body with more nutrients. It helps lessen the likelihood of developing food sensitivities to stuff. So I'm just excited to have another flavor and another color out there.
Absolutely. And I am excited to be part of another wonderful Green Juju product. And I'm excited to be to be involved in products in the future. And So thank you guys so much. As I always say, it is truly our privilege to be able to make things to make your pets healthier. So thank you so much for trusting us, and we're going to continue to do the right thing, and we'll be here. So everybody have a good day, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.